Werther's Originals of opening.
Oh my god, I never know when it ends. My internet sucks. Is it still going?
Your intro smells like golf balls.
You suck.
Then
Steven, through it. There you go. Come on.
You know, Christie up there in the corner talking about Tiger King.
Yeah, she probably is. She probably is. And now it goes to black. This is where I'm supposed to like talk, I guess. Even though
why don't you edit?
I'm supposed to talk.
Get an editor. Get it.
Oh, you can edit.
It didn't go to black yet.
Yes, you can edit those. Shorter.
I couldn't tell whether or not that talk, whether or not it was actually you guys in the background.
So a little tradition of the dump is to talk through my intro the whole way. So yeah, next time you're
respect.
on, we just unmute because there's no respect for me whatsoever.
Well,
welcome everybody to
respect.
Well, the truth is when I hit it, I don't see the video go. So they're the ones who kind of tell me when the video ends. So that's good. Thank God for my computer.
That bad?
It's my computer's that bad, dick. I don't see it. All I see is you guys. Occasionally, I'll see like a flash of the video. Yeah, it's
raging.
Awesome.
This is how you do not build a channel. Just letting you know, like that's everything
not
does.
YouTube.
Yeah, you know how you build a channel? I'm going to write a book about you. Can I be on your show? All right, everybody, welcome to Sport King.
Born in the chats of the High Council.
Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it.
It's all right. I was born in the chats too. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's great.
Depending on what show, sometimes he switches it. Born in the chats of Geeks and Gamers. Born in the chats of Nerdwonic.
I never did that. It's always been the High Council.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, let's start the goddamn show. Welcome everybody to
Where's Wally?
News. Yeah, where's Wally?
Goodness.
Tonight we have a great guest. One of my brothers from down under. First time we are streaming together. The great Raging Rhino. How are you, my friend?
Hail, thank you for having me on. It is an honor to be here with all of these great people and to be on with you. It's been a long time coming. We've been back and forward talking like, man, we've got to get on a stream together. We've got to get on a stream together. And finally it's come. So thank you again for having me on. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about this. Oh,
a lot of stroking and it finally came. Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. That was dual stroking. Stroking. Yeah.
It's called dual.
Depends on your gender. It could just be flicking the bean, to be honest, but who knows?
That is true.
Sorry, I could take this stream. I'm Australian, if you haven't been able to tell. And based on the intro. So yeah, there could be a little bit of language you may not like. So if I offend you, I apologize in advance.
Oh no. This is pants off type of streams. This is our late stream, so we can say whatever the hell we want. I actually put our next guest next to you to piss off Lethal Lightning, and that would be Jayne Theory. How are you, Jayne?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
I am doing great. Oh, we got another guest popping in. While we're introducing the other guest, let's introduce the guy who just popped in. He has probably the largest channel with all of us combined. Tom,
man, I thought you were going to say penis.
Well, it didn't.
We try to tell the truth. We all
know it's probably Rhino, but
yeah. Well,
Tom's cock's pretty big.
No, I bet yours is big. No, hello everybody. I thought I'd hop by for a few minutes, take a break from editing.
Hail, Tom.
Oh, nice.
Hail, Tom.
What are you working on?
Top secret. Tom? Can't tell you. Have to kill you.
Got it.
I'm into that. Is it
the next episode of Bat Tom? I'm waiting.
I wish.
I'm also waiting for the next. What is it? The cinema one? The Boneheads of Cinema. Still waiting for that.
We might work on some more of those. Andre's not a big
Right.
fan, though.
Oh,
Really?
Nah, he sees it as kind of picking on people.
Tell him
What about,
people love it. Tell him a lot of the Australians love it.
Yeah, he has a whole island continent that loves it. It's a island it's a continent. I guess all continents are islands in a way. Anywho, next up on our list is the great Machina. Yes, they are. They're all surrounded by water in some way or another.
America's an
water,
island.
frozen water. Yeah, there you go. The Americas are a big island.
Yep.
Jayne. Next up on the list is the artist of the fourth wave, Makini 90 or Makini 90, whichever way you like to pronounce it.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone. This is Maki 90, the Inquisitor, the artist of Rogue Entertainment, one of the mods of Rogue Entertainment. We thank you for stopping by. Happy to be here with everybody on this great panel, especially Tom and Raging Rhino. And if I could just plug one thing here, guys, please check out the absolutely fantastic Rogue Entertainment stream that we did with Jayne Theory and our special guest Nerdrotic. Just absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
that's how you do
Way
it.
to send them to another stream while I'm streaming.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Well, I was going to do that because
After
you didn't mention it.
And it is a reminder.
You're welcome.
I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
I wonder if Nerd Cookies has like PTSD after you did that to her. You said this is Nerd
That was
Cookies, and then you
fucked up.
played that clip because she hasn't come on a
totally-
single show since then. Just say it.
that's
She hasn't
bullshit.
been around. Hasn't had
The
the
glory
time.
hole days. Wow.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
a phrase. At a press conference of all things.
Nerd
That is
Cookies,
the
one of the
owner.
sweetest people, most positive
Yeah.
people in the fandom. Yeah, looking for glory holes. Good job, Scotty.
I did not get invited back. I didn't get invited back to that next Sunday. That is the owner of the American football team.
America's team right there.
See, she said it in the chat. She does have PTSD, Scott. She said it in the chat.
Yeah, in the chat.
The
She's
only
not even
way
on
to
here.
cure
She has
that-
a link here, and she's not even coming.
The only way to cure that is more stream Glorial. So come back on, and we'll you know what? We'll dance for you.
Don't finish that sentence. You need more glory holes, so please come on. And okay, I don't know where to go.
Oh
with this sentence
shit! I
anymore.
did screw that kind of.
Yeah, that's probably
What
not
the
the
hell?
right best way to say it.
Okay, and the
This
last
is never
guest.
coming
I
on
was about
again.
to say there's one way to take the attention off Steven.
Steven,
Yes.
welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Check out the stream that we just had on Jayne Theory's channel because if you guys missed it, because we are trying to get our watch hours up, and Gary came by to help us do that, and it was a great stream. Had a fun time, and lots of different subjects. Twitch touched a lot of different subjects on the last stream. It was a lot
What
of
did
fun.
you touch? A lot of what?
We touched a
you
lot
touched
of subjects, not
Oh.
people subjects, topic
Oh.
subjects.
Show me
Hey,
on
you
the
know
show
what?
where he touched you.
At least I'm not telling Nerd Cookies about glory holes. All right, just go away.
Yeah. You're telling her to get a coffee enema. And while we're talking
No,
about that,
no.
DoLiFiEd
Fake
for
news.
$4. DoLiFiEd for $4 has a little. I don't know if it's a pair, giving Walton a cup of coffee right now. If you don't know DoLiFiEd, check out his channel. The guy rocks. And then for 99 cents, he also gives Walton poop. So it goes from a $4 cup of coffee to a 99-cent poop. That is Walton's life right there. That's your life.
Nerd Cookie started this terrible lie, this misinformation that has persisted. It's dead. It's not funny anymore. It's
Oh.
it's
all
it's
your
not funny.
fault, Steven.
Jayne. Don't
yeah.
even start with me.
Thank you, Jayne. Thank you, Jayne. And the books will come out. Terminus Est. Terminus Est.
Jesus Christ, he's been following us for a year, and you don't even
No,
know how to
but-
say his name yet.
I'm a little half retarded. I didn't say that. Can you say that on camera?
Yeah, I can. I'm Australian.
Yeah,
I
say
can
it.
say whatever I want.
He has different
it.
It's kind of
rules.
iffy. It's kind of iffy depending on where, like.
I think this goes for Raging Rhino right here. Grogu is the sound that's made when Steven tests
Right, if
a
you're-
coffee enema on himself. Do you agree?
That could be taken really badly depending on the definition of Grogu, based on what we were talking about last night.
Yes.
Because if there's Grogu in Stephen Walton's butt, I'm very, very worried.
Oh,
So that's like felching. It's like a felch.
I think
Do you use a straw, Steven?
I think the person who put it there was semi-bisexual.
Wait, is that even a thing?
It is. Look it up. I found it the other day. Look up
For fuck's
semi-bisexual. It means that you're bisexual, but you're only attracted to one gender.
That's called straight or gay.
Exactly.
yes, Tom.
What the fucking...
I know.
Everything's a special kind of gay.
I'm sorry.
They
Yeah,
found a way.
that's
They found a way to make everybody a part of the LGBTQ community.
I'm
Now,
so
now the letters
Yeah,
are going to
you
start
let it.
fighting with each other within the acronym. Like, it's going to be acronym
Well,
wars.
I get 2 letters because I'm SB, semi-bisexual.
Oh.
2
So-
letters
So wait a minute. Semi-bisexual means you're straight, right?
or gay.
Yeah.
Because it means what definition? If you look it up, it says you're bisexual. You are bisexual, but you're only attracted to one gender.
Oh,
So make sense of that if you can.
but okay.
It means you like Oscar Mayer wieners, but if you have to, you'll eat tuna.
Well, no, because I'm kind of confused.
Yeah,
I went to American Public.
Or vice versa.
I'm so confused as to what I just walked into.
So is a
Okay.
semi-bisexual person,
Right.
evidently.
I think everybody on this panel is semi-bisexual, unless I'm wrong. Sorry.
I'm lesbian.
Whoa.
Hang on, but you're a man.
I'm
That means
semi-lesbian.
you're Semi.
It works if you're a reincarnationist.
I'm semi-lesbian. That means you're a lesbian, but you're attracted to men.
No. I'm a man, but I'm attracted to women who like other women.
Right.
Get this shit straight.
So are you
Sorry.
Come on,
semi-gay?
Rhino, get with
Nothing
it.
It's
about
one of the
you,
58 genders.
Oh, they're teaching in schools.
I'm very
Well done, Will. Well done.
Welcome to
But
the
I
show,
don't
Nina.
like women. Never mind.
Yes, welcome to the show, Nina.
Welcome to the show, Nina.
Yeah,
Scout
Nina
Party has told
Infinity.
nerd cookies again about glory holes in like less than 10 minutes, and she's never going to show up again.
What?
No, that's not true, Nina Infinity. Welcome to the show. What it is that Steven is into propaganda and besmirching my name. I don't know. I just read Nerd Cookies put that besmirching.
Yeah, because you don't know words like that. That's too fancy.
And also, while we're talking about it, uses a spoon to scoop that stuff out. The
Gross.
Grogu.
What?
Scott only knows words like
Well,
McRib.
Gross.
All I know
Those
is
are
that
disgusting. Big Mac.
all I know is that according to Culture Casino, he trains woody woodpeckers to do stuff, make glory holes in trees for him to have his way with. That's all I know.
Welcome to the show, Script Doctor.
Right.
Don't listen
Welcome
to
to
Nina
the-
Infinity's propagandizing.
Yeah,
We have
wait,
enough
how
of
do you-
this in our...
What do you
What?
mean glory hole in trees? So like they hollow out the entire tree, then put a hole in there, and then shove someone inside for the function?
I'll tell you
No,
what.
he-
It is a reminder. I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
oh my God!
I've been here since the glory hole days.
There's a win.
Oh my
That is him
God.
entering. That is him entering the glory hole. Yeah, I just want you all to know that.
That's the
That's
wrong
Steven
shape.
going-
I just have to say, I know,
If there was
sorry.
more glory holes in the world, it would be a better place.
You invited
What
me.
were
I'm
you-
going to derail your stream for a second. I
Please
saw
do.
that scene on Star Trek. I don't know if you've seen this episode of. I don't know if it was Discovery or I don't know what it was, but there was a scene where the non-binary character wanted to be referred to as they them.
Oh
So
my
they
God.
scripted this whole bit where these two characters that turn out to be gay because they have this nice gay kiss at the end. Are referring to the character as they them, and they go through in like literally like a 20-30 second period, they drop they them as a pronoun like 10 times or something. It's so weird to watch.
Special kind of gay.
It's very weird to watch. What's even more weirder is that in the 32nd century, it's awkward for a character like Adira to ask for her pronouns to be properly used.
Yeah.
It's like, oh great, 1,000 years, so this has become normalized.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
Again,
not my
they're-
Star Trek people, not my Star Trek.
you know, at least they're not denying they're using it as a platform for 2020 politics. Because that's what that is, all of it. That's a nonsense gobbledygook.
Stop the crazy train. I want to get the fuck off.
I believe that they are the future.
Oh,
You need
God.
that meme from Futurama with Dr. Farnsworth saying, I don't want to live here anymore.
The problem is with all this entertainment that we're getting, or all the shows and everything that we're getting that's got these pronoun things in it and stuff, it ages the show so much because by the time this fad is gone, like these episodes are going to mean nothing to people.
Nope.
Kids are going to watch this show in 20 years' time and go, "What the fuck are they talking about?" Like it's
And you know how they, and you know, Raging Rhino, how they really ruined that is they preface it that Adira always felt like a they them before the symbiote, because you could actually put a great excuse saying like, I can't sort out all all the various memories I have, so I prefer to just be called they until I can figure out who I am among all these different personalities that are just constantly dictating my actions. Because then you have something that fits within the context of that current time era, but also reflects a little bit on what's going on with the state today. And it doesn't quite date it as much. It just mitigates it a little. But instead, she's like, nope, before I have a boyfriend, but I'm a they, them. And it's like, okay, now you're completely dating this. And you're also kind of sort of nudging in a very negative and patronizing way to the people of that group, because you're now placating to them as opposed to integrating them into the franchise.
Right.
Yeah, because you would think by this point that wouldn't be a thing. 1,200 years in the fucking future.
I mean, Stamets' reaction to it, I thought, was quite appropriate. It's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Perfect. Great
I
response
reckon-
to it. But it's everything leading up to that.
Mecca's explanation of Star Trek in author Stephen Walton's clip of his book, where she says, Star Trek to me is an optimistic view of the future. Like, that's what these shows were. And they're putting them in a time capsule that, again, it ages so badly. The rewatchability of these shows diminishes massively because of the way that they're writing them. It just it drives me crazy. Because, again, these are things that we've loved for years and years and years, and we've watched and, we've learnt the lore behind, and, we've been able to suspend our disbelief because of one certain explanation that isn't a real thing. For example, like warp speed or something, how does warp speed work? They give us an explanation of the laws behind that. Even though it's not real, okay, we can justify that. They start to change these things and they think that it means nothing. Like, let's
right.
It's just there. Let's just do it.
That's the problem. That's the problem. It used to be when you created some type of law of physics or law of nature in a world, like only male magicians can water bend, and only female could use fire. But then you switch it up. Oh, but this one is special because it can do both.
Because he's non-binary.
Exactly. For that reason.
Because this character's non-binary, he can use water and fire.
Right.
What they are trying to insinuate is that this is natural evolution, that this is the way of the future, that this is normal. It's not normal. It's made up gobbledygook. And they're using a trill to do it, or a join trill. We've already covered join trills before in real Star Trek, and it was always confusing for them because when they first got joined, there was always kind of like this dynamic of separating past personalities, being a mother or a father or man or a woman within whatever body they happen to inhabit at that time. Like, we've already had these topics of conversations. Not once did they ever say, "I call me they or them." Raging's right. This is terribly dated. This is not going to be a thing in 5-10 years. And it's people are going to look back on and go, "What the hell is this?" Like, it just adds to what we already know, which is disco sucks. It's
But it's
so not.
It's also poor writing. That's the problem. It's so poorly done. It's so cheaply done. It's so forced that it's uninteresting. I can watch the original series every single day and never get tired of it.
Me too.
Yeah. This
and that's what I'm
barely
doing.
get through a single episode.
It's timeless. It's like the original trilogy of Star Wars. It's timeless. Nothing in that story is dated whatsoever, other than the visuals, maybe a little bit. But again, that you look past that. You look way past that because the story isn't dated. The characters aren't
Right.
dated.
Exactly.
Nothing that they do goes, oh, this shows the times of the 70s and the 80s.
Right.
You know,
No,
nothing.
and
Instead of timeless script doctor, it's a time capsule.
Yeah.
Pretty much, and what the way to sort of address current day issues on a timeless matter is to break them down to what are the core values, what are the moral implications of it, as opposed to something specific like a they them, or like anything of identity politics or an oppression of a particular group for a particular specific reason. You develop it through allegory so that it can be applied to any other decade. You can look at Let This Be Your Last Battlefield, about the two people who, Frank Gorshin and the other guy, that can't, reconcile with the fact that they've just physically looked different because they created two cultures behind each appearance. And that one definitely plays into the civil rights movement to a bit, but it's not a pontification of that. It's basically looking at humanity's perspective on it. It's like, okay, so you're both white on one side and black on the other. The fact that it's left or right is inconsequential. You're still of the same species, which is the overall message with regards to humanity. They call us that there are people out there that say that we're of different races, but we're not. We're of the human race. We're the only ones here. If we were of different races, we could not, have children with each other of people of different skin tones and whatnot. Like, it just would not be compatible. Yet that is not true.
They did a similar thing on Babylon 5 as well. I don't know if any of you have watched Babylon 5, but they had, because they kind of like had the allegorical thing for the UN, and then they have like these species come in and they're trying to make peace between all these different species. And this one species, they wear different colored flags to like they wear blue and they wear green, and the blue ones are like, oh, like, how dare you like refer to my color as green? Like, it's just all about like the different colors, and it's just so stupid to the humans because they've like evolved past the racial thing, so they can't understand why the different colored flags are so crazy important to this one species, but it is. So they're just trying to like, work around that and make peace with this other species. But it did such a great job of allegorically like basically talk about our flags and how we feel about flags and the different colors of our skin in this world, and all that kind of stuff.
The thing that blows my mind is that if you actually go back and watch some of these older shows, and I hate this whole thing that, the first strong female character or the first of this or the first of that. Go back and actually watch. You'll find diversity in these shows that is done well, done right. The characters are written first, not just, again, it's putting the right people in place. They're just hiring based on diversity and based on being virtuous and, virtue signaling and all of that sort of shit. And it really does crush the things that we love. I mean, I think about The Mandalorian at the moment, and I just think to myself, that show visually looks great. It looks great, right? But actually, again, unpopular opinion. I know I've already got a bit of hate for it. Take a step back and actually have a look at the story. I know there's a few people in the fandom that are sort of going, they're sort of starting to see like a little bit of the holes and everything, but I'm getting told that I can't pick apart certain things. I'm sorry. Where did that come from? That sounds like what the Last Jedi. That sounds like what the Last Jedi defenders were saying.
Came from normies.
I'm sitting here going, I'm sorry, but the way that they portrayed Ahsoka in that episode seems out of character for me. She was dark. She shouldn't be killing these characters. I don't care what anyone says. She shouldn't be killing those characters at the beginning. She had them beat. She could have had them tied up. She could have captured them and actually tied these guys up. They were no threat to her. And then the way that she attacks Mando from behind, I can understand if she wants to ignite her lightsaber and get ready for battle because it is a Mandalorian after all. But he was no threat. She just attacks him. And that's it. Like, we're supposed to be okay with that. She talks about Anakin. She refers to Anakin, and talks about the dark side and, connections and stuff like this. And based on what she knows and the character development that she's had, she shouldn't be delving in the dark side at all unless there's a very, very good reason for her to be. Like, I just have those issues. But hang on, it's Ahsoka. You can't criticize Ahsoka. You can't do that.
You're sexist. You're sexist.
No, it hasn't even been that. It's just I don't see how, her killing these characters at the beginning.
I'll criticize her. She's pointless. She fucks everything up, and her existing screws up the original trilogy all over the place.
I completely agree with you, Tom. The funny thing is I love Ahsoka as a character, or I loved Ahsoka as a character, but ever since she's become so important to every era of Star Wars,
right.
The prequels, the originals, she's even in the sequels.
She's basically the Michael Burnham now.
She's everywhere. Right? She is important to every timeline that we know.
Well, that's the way Michael Burnham is. She's important to every timeline.
Yeah. So anyway, I keep derailing you. I can talk.
Yeah, not at all.
Right. I criticize Mandalorian all the time because I see things that are very peculiar about it. I see desperation to try and make something of Star Wars so great that they're not thinking on the whole overall of how that's affecting the rest of the story. Like even this most recent episode, there are things of it I thought, yeah, that's all cool and everything. But the biggest flaw of The Mandalorian, regardless of all the other plot holes and stuff, is that the Empire is not a threat. They have all these stormtroopers. They just fall like basically battle droids in episode 1. There's nothing to them. I have no stakes or urgency or concern with any of the characters. And so when I see a whole bunch of stormtroopers, I'm not invested. And that's a big problem.
Boba Fett is fighting with a pipe that has a gear on it, and men are chasing. I mean, they're collapsing on him, and instead of just stopping and shooting him, they run right into it. Like there is no.
Apparently, it's Boba Fett now.
It's Boba Fett.
Yeah, he's a bit.
That might be the layers of the.
I didn't have a problem with his size or anything, and I liked how he looked like he at least filled out the armor a bit better and all of that kind of thing. But Mando leaving his ship wide open. I mean, hasn't this guy learnt that like from the Jawas episode in season 1, like don't just leave your ship wide open and
they're going to give him the slave one.
Every episode, but also too every episode this season, Mando's been a background character in his own series. He's been overshadowed by every new character that's come in. Even the Gina Carano one, he was very much a background character in his own story.
Well, Rhino, let me ask you
the second episode on the ice planet where he's running away from the spiders.
Oh, that is the most useless episode of television I've ever seen.
But tell me,
pretty bad,
Tell me it wasn't the only episode where like you see, okay, what does he have to offer if not like to bounty hunt? He's going to kill spiders for a frog lady. And every other episode has been a boss battle in a game. The problem I have is this too, and you're hitting the nail right on the head, is it depends on how good the character, his supporting characters are. That's how good the episode's going to be, because it doesn't depend on what Mando does. It depends on how good the supporting characters. Jayne, we've talked about this. What do you say about that?
No, it's every single episode. He is a side character to a soft reboot of a new character and potential spin-off show. It's almost as if that's what the purpose of this series was all along.
Every episode, basically every episode is pitching a new potential Star Wars series.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, we and I want to hear, because McKinney hasn't said anything, but I want to ask Jayne this first. It is a potential, a backdoor pilot, but yet when they do their 50th announcement, they talk about nothing but The Mandalorian. Why is it was set up for them to talk about these other shows or concepts or anything, and they thought of nothing else.
They have no other ideas except to throw things at the wall and see what may stick. That's it. And they're using The Mandalorian to push that. The problem is that many people started watching this show because of The Mandalorian. That's the story we were sold. That's the character we were sold.
Bounty hunter stories.
The bounty hunter, the
That's
Western,
what we were advertised, but not
Western.
necessarily what we were sold. Yeah.
We didn't get that.
We didn't get that
Except
at
now,
all.
I guess we kind of do, because he's, now hunting.
He's starting to build the crew.
Can I just quickly say, every episode where the child is put somewhere so that they can go off and do a mission, the mission's pretty badass. No. Yeah. I'm just saying, when the child's not actually a sort of a main focus of the episode. The action in it and everything's pretty badass. As soon as you bring the child into it, it's like, this is slow, this is boring, this is almost pointless. That's how it feels a little bit to me with that. It's just
Rhino, how'd you feel about the name Grogu?
Before he says the thing about, wait a minute, before you say the thing about Grogu, for $5, Terminus says if there's a guy with a knife on the other side of the glory hole, then it becomes a gory hole. That was for Steven. All right. Please answer that.
Rhino?
You can answer her question. Yeah.
Sorry, I was getting something lined up. Sorry, give me that again. I missed it completely.
What did you think about the name Grogu?
Oh, okay. I'm with Stephen Walton. It sounds like jizz.
Oh.
That definitely sounds like Stephen Walton. Definitely sounds like
I'm gonna Grogu all over your face, baby.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm Groguing. Yeah, totally.
I'm sorry again. I take it out of control.
You do not have to apologize on this channel. Definitely not on my Saturday show.
Can I play 20 seconds of something for you?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, I played this on Jesse Milestones and it was okay. It's 20 seconds of an audio book. I listened to this part of this book about 2 days or 3 days after the Ahsoka episode. And based on what I was saying about her attacking people and stuff like that, I just want you to listen to this and think, okay, Ahsoka was brought up under this character. This is the book, and I have to give a shout out to Stig Kenobi for recommending it because it's an awesome book. Shadow Hunter. It's the Darth Maul story. This takes place during the events of episode 1. 20 seconds. Oh, I need to turn my volume up.
Led Obi-Wan down a short flight of stairs and along a corridor, apologizing as they walked. Sorry about the rough stuff, but we had to be sure you really were a Jedi. The fact that you didn't even have to harm any of our
they like the rough stuff.
The Jedi are known, after all, for valuing life.
So the Jedi, after all, are known for valuing life.
And
all I heard was also and thought about was also the rough stuff, like Tom. I was like, what?
Basically what he's saying is Obi-Wan gets jumped by these sort of guys that, are waiting for him. And instead of Obi-Wan just killing them, he just stops them, sort of ties them up, stops them, and then they get stopped. And they just wanted to make sure that he was a Jedi, right? And he goes, the Jedi are known for valuing life. So it's just, for me, it's just a thing for Ahsoka in that episode. I don't want to go too much into it. I just wanted to play that and show you, where I'm sort of basing my logic on that with.
Well, my thing is this too. I mean, at the very end, when she's asking the question, where's your master? She executes her at the end of that, correct? Like she literally executes. Well, we never see the prisoner. It's assumed that she executed her. Now, she might have taken her prisoner, but from what we saw before, her cutting through these people like she was on a mission of just destruction. I think she executed.
That a dark side thing?
That's the whole point that I'm trying to make is like this episode, Ahsoka just felt a little out of character for me. And it's not to say she's not a Jedi, and it's not to say that she can't dabble in the dark side or be tempted by the dark side. But again, I'm just saying based on what we know about Ahsoka, some of the actions don't really line up for me. That's all.
Look, the episode was called The Jedi.
Would have been more interesting if they made her go to the dark side and follow her master instead of just being left alive. And
but I don't think she should do that. As an Ahsoka fan, I don't want to see that. She should have died at either the hand of Vader in Rebels or.
That's what I said. I said either she should have died or she should have gone to the dark side. So maybe they're like.
Jayne disagrees. What do you have to say, Jayne?
I disagree. I like that she survived. I think it made sense from my sort of perception of her relationship with Anakin and who Vader was at the time and who she was at the time. I like the story, that part of it.
Right.
Her surviving. Yeah. I mean,
I get this is what
about it, but
go wrong, Jayne, but that's okay.
No,
Jayne has a problem with her surviving.
I'm just joking. I'm totally joking, Jayne. I've never even watched the show. I shouldn't have no opinion. I'm sorry.
Being that she's survived everything, she's again become very important to every era, every story that we sort of get.
Every big moment.
She's definitely
LQ3 says Ahsoka's more a grey Jedi. Now, can I just address that quickly? Grey Jedi for me cannot be a thing if you want balance to be a thing. Because becoming a grey Jedi isn't canon. There's dark Jedi. who don't dabble in the Sith teachings, but they don't. It's all about just selfishness for them, whereas a Sith really wants to conquer and be selfish at the same time.
Grey Jedi lives matter, man. Grey Jedi lives.
The reason why Grey Jedi can't be a thing is because balance is achieved when a person is there's no dark side. Well, there is dark side, but they don't let it control them. And you sort of get that from season 6 of the Clone Wars, where Yoda goes off and learns how to become one with the Force, learns from Qui-Gon. I just hate the whole thing about Grey Jedi because it really throws a spanner in the works with the
I've
lore.
had this conversation many times with Alora, OG Star Wars, and she always says the same thing as you. And I'm always like, I don't care what you say. Qui-Gon Jinn was a great Jedi.
No, he wasn't. He was a balanced Jedi. That's what he was. He found balance.
That's and
George Lucas says the balance is achieved when there is no dark side. It comes from the horse's mouth directly. There's no such thing as Grey Jedi. Grey Jedi can go suck a dick. Fucking
a lot of stuff, as Script Doctor will tell you.
I'm sorry?
I said Lucas says a lot of things, as Script Doctor will tell you.
That is true. Lucas has been known to contradict himself and whatnot. But I mean, I'm kind of on the side of things because the philosophy of the Force is that the Force is just is. It's just this plane of existence, however you want to look at it. And when you go onto the dark side, that's the corruption, and that's the therefore off balance. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think the idea that Lucas brought into a balance of the Force is stupid. The
Force is like spaghetti.
It absolves the individual of their own thing to a point, where the Force should just be this neutral aspect, and the only reason. And you can go dark side or light side, and that's of a personal nature, which can have detrimental effects to everyone else. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you put in balance, you then start to elevate it beyond what it actually is, where the Force becomes far more important to maintain a balance than it is to the individual to be responsible for their actions. And I think that's kind of a flaw because, again, creators are human. They can make mistakes. Sometimes they don't follow what the story they've established has set up. They just want to inject cool ideas into the story, and then they'll rework things around to try and make it work as best they can, which is perfectly fine. Yeah. But it doesn't always work.
But within the story, though, real quick, within the story, this is the perspective of the Jedi. So maybe they're wrong.
What do you mean?
Yes, but okay, let me give you this. At the end of Return of the Jedi, Anakin brings balance back to the Force. Is there Grey Jedi?
No.
But he becomes a Grey Jedi.
What is there? There's no dark side.
There is no dark side dies. The dark side dies.
He destroys the Sith.
He used the dark side. He used Force choke. He used the dark side methods.
But he died.
That though.
Luke picked him up and threw him. He picked him up and threw him.
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
Did you guys watch The Rise of Skywalker?
You know what I'm talking about, though.
No, but this one, Jedi, Luke starts off walking the line between the light and the dark because he's not fully a Jedi. But walking the line is not really a Grey Jedi because it's not a commitment to both. It's basically I'm using this to achieve this goal. Yeah, because Luke is still a rebel at that point who happens to have Jedi skills. It's not until he tries to appease to Darth Vader as Anakin and bring him back to the light side and succeed that he becomes an actual Jedi and no longer just a rebel. Because the rebel mentality is violence to solve a problem.
What I take it as is this. Hold on. What I take it as is this. Bringing balance to the Force is more of, during the OT was a spiritual thing of almost like a Buddhist rising up above, material things and finding a consciousness higher than and more pure. That's the light side of the Force, using it for only good and learning from it. The light side uses it to understand emotion, even though they're not allowed to have connection. The dark side uses it for corruption and gain, but they never get to understand love again. Like, it's all about balance. It's not about balance between dark and good. It's about,
and they're both incredibly flawed.
And they are. I'm not saying that, but what it is, it's balance is bringing the light side to the light side, to the peace, to the tranquility, and rising above. Yeah, being no dark. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was the
here is an overcomplication of the Force as a result of the idea of balance. And ideas and storytelling should be as simple as possible, and it should be the characters and their approach to them that should be complex. But notice how we're talking more about the idea of the Force as opposed to the philosophies of the Jedi and the Sith and how they treat the Force, which is actually like the crux of the OT.
But isn't that the whole point of the story? Is that it's left up to interpretation what the balance is?
No,
well, only with the introduction
if you
of the
watch,
trilogy.
that's what it is exactly.
Anakin brings balance back to the
just
Force.
only in the OT, right, Raging? If you watch
No,
the
PT.
OT, no, what I'm saying is if you watch the OT, you understand balance to the Force is destroying the dark side and bringing balance to the Force. That's what it was meant to be.
At the end of
be more accurate, if you
Yes,
watch
Jayne,
the OT
for the
without the
Jedi.
PT, there's no concept of balance of the Force. It's all just about saving his father. That's what it is. Because balance of the Force was not introduced until the prequel.
Oh,
trilogy.
yeah.
So for
No,
20 years,
exactly
the
what I'm
story was
talking
all
about.
about just saving my dad and a redemption from the father by the son, and throwing off the devil that is Palpatine, which is the devil on your shoulder, forcing
You're
you
absolutely right.
to corrupting actions, and just abandoning that idea. And it's also goes to like the ultimate Jedi trial, which is you don't kill a Sith.
Yeah,
because
it's like going to get your dad from the bar.
Exactly. You don't kill the Sith because that will just foster their apprentice or their master to be more angry and try and teach more off. But if you convince the Sith to abandon the dark ways and come to the light side, you then destroy the very concept of what that idea is from anyone that's following him, because they either have to double down or reconsider their position in life.
See, but that's not exactly what I'm talking about, Script Doctor. I feel like in a way, and what makes Star Wars this epic tale, and we're still talking about it to this day on this panel, is the fact that it was somewhat left off to interpretation, like all good stories are. It was like the interpretation of how I interpreted the
wrong.
How did you interpret it? Did Anakin return and bring balance?
For example, Qui-Gon being a gray Jedi, or that Luke was crossing into the gray Jedi factor, like those things. See, you guys are shaking your head, but that's an interpretation. You can't shake your head at me.
I interpreted it wrong. That's okay.
What the fuck?
That's okay. No, but it's okay. Like, I understand why you're saying that, but Qui-Gon was
a Jedi,
light side
a true Jedi.
User that, he was the truest, probably one of them all, because
he was
in
a
the
drone.
moment.
Let's be clear.
It's how he became one with the Force. He was the
What
first.
His name is Jin. He's a drunk. Let's be clear.
He was the first ever Jedi to achieve balance and actually become one with the Force.
This kid's got midichlorians out the church.
It's in law. It's in
Just
law.
watch what I do this, man. I'm gonna mac on this chick.
Works. Grey Jedi throws a massive spanner in the works. If Disney want to make that canon, I mean, they're doing anything to destroy everything, so who cares? But at the end of the day, Grey Jedi in George Lucas's version of Star Wars cannot be a thing. It just cannot be. Based on what we've seen, what we know.
What would a Grey Jedi do? What effect would he have on someone else's balance or their ability to achieve balance?
He would color clash or bring the colors together. Like,
turn segregation into.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's all hug.
It's between. It's like if the light was the Jedi Council and they were the Jedi and they were supposed to be the light side, and then you have the Sith and they're the dark side, and then you had Qui-Gon who's questioning the Jedi Council and questioning certain methods that they're doing, and they're the Jedi and they're the light side. How is he not gray?
He was
because he could question it. He could question.
He was following the will of the Force. He wasn't following the Council, which was going off on a bad path. Hence, why he was the only one and the first one to become one with the Force.
Let the man answer the question.
No. But are you saying that they're going to turn into Sith?
I'm saying that Yoda didn't achieve balance until he was about 870 years old.
That's why
they were. What about Dooku?
He did not achieve balance. Dooku didn't achieve balance. At the end of Return of the Jedi novelization, and I haven't actually read this myself, but at the end of that book, when Anakin is dying, Obi-Wan shows up to Anakin and says, hurry up, we don't have much time, to allow him to become one with the Force and achieve actual balance, being a Jedi again. There's so much lore behind it that, again, I will say, Grey Jedi, if you want it to be a thing, that's fine. I understand. But it just, in George Lucas's version of Star Wars, it is written in law and shown in law that it can't be a thing. I'm sorry.
But why can't it be a thing if someone doesn't want to achieve balance?
Well, why wouldn't somebody want to achieve balance if they're light side? Of course
because
they would.
they're gray.
Exactly, Jayne.
No.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Thank you, Jayne.
There's three different things that are in law. There's three different things that are in law. There's a Jedi, there's a dark Jedi, and there's a Sith.
And there's a gray Jedi. You almost said it.
No.
Almost.
Go and read the codes and you'll see the differences between them, or watch my video on the codes.
I want the man back on my show. He's right, and you're wrong, Nina.
Shameless plug.
You're wrong.
Okay, so then what is the difference then between a dark Jedi and a gray Jedi, really?
Okay.
Good question.
Well, a gray Jedi, again,
I thought you guys
doesn't
just said
exist. I thought you were going to
no
ask what's the
such thing as
difference
a gray
between a
Jedi.
dark Jedi and a Sith.
God, Nina, you just talk over everyone. Now I know how everybody else feels.
He just said there's no such thing as a gray Jedi, and then Tom goes with, "What's the difference between them?" And then there's an answer. So there's no such
dark
thing.
Jedi and a Sith. If you took the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth, you would have heard.
Anyway.
I'm sorry.
Thank you,
I said
Ryan.
I'm
dark
sorry,
side.
we've gone for 45 minutes talking about this stuff.
Dark side
fine.
Jedi.
It's fine. Just explain dark side Jedi or dark Jedi and the Sith. Just
Okay, so
and then we're done.
A Sith, man, I'll try
Take
and
your
see if I
time.
can bring
Let me
something
school
up.
your ass.
Let me ask you a
Great
question while I bring this up. Do you think that after this last episode of Mandalorian, Boba Fett, either the Mandalorian's going to die and Boba Fett's going to be the new Mandalorian, or Boba Fett's going to die and the Mandalorian's going to take Slave One?
I'd be very surprised if either died, but I think Mandalorian is going to get a new ship. It might be Slave 1 or it might be the introduction of the Slave 2 on live action.
Do you think Baby Yoda is even going to come back this season?
Oh, yeah, they're going after him.
I hope if they show him, I hope if they show Baby Yoda again, he's not just in handcuffs anymore, but chains on both arms and both little legs, and he's just hanging in midair.
That's right. The Empire has handcuffs that small.
Wow.
Monster.
Why are you such a sadist?
And then I just
Scott?
want people to take some punches at him because he sucks. That little dude had so much force energy, and then he passes out for a second. He's throwing freaking guys around, and then all of his
power.
Oh, he's such a wussy.
50
He's
years old.
years old.
He's a
Trained by
baby.
several masters. Can't
He
say his
should
own name.
An ass. He should-
I'm not opposed to there being an autistic Jedi. I'm just saying.
Right. He's like,
Oh my
Grogu.
God, this-
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Here it is. Here it is. Grogu. Huh? Grogu. Huh? That's
Wait.
all I saw from that little shit.
So is Grogu a light side Jedi then?
No, that's what, well, if you watched the show and heard what Ahsoka said, Ahsoka thinks he fears going to the dark side because of all the fear and anger he has from the captives that
No, that's not what she said. She said that he has an attachment to the Mandalorian, hence
She
that
also talked
opens the
about
door
fear.
to the road to the dark side, like Anakin, basically.
Which is kind of a contradiction because how does an apprentice not have an attachment to their master?
Yeah, it's stupid. That whole thing was always stupid. That's what I've always said.
That's
If
why
they-
they
if
pick
they
him
wanted
as
to-
babies.
If they wanted to name him Grogu, after male bodily reproductive fluids, then really what they should have done was they should have said he was a clone. That would have made sense, Grogu.
I think Grogu was just a play on George.
Yeah.
The
I would have
name
preferred the
George.
name George, actually.
Disney Lucasfilm people standing around talking about their genitals and where they're going to put their genitals, and if they identify with their genitals, and let's name him Grogu. That's what I.
Well, here's the difference, though. Let's be fair, though. In Mandalorian, there has not been this huge push to have, fucking the whole politic business in it. I mean, there's at least been that much. Now, whether you agree with some of the story beats, that's one thing. But I haven't felt like they were forcing this thing down my throat that whammon good, man bad, all that kind of crap. We don't have a bunch of gay, stormtroopers.
I don't know. Them stormtroopers.
It's a good thing they're
the
not
last
trying to
episode.
Why is everybody wearing white? White,
Yeah,
white, white, white,
I totally agree,
white.
Tom. Yeah. I totally
Why
agree.
can't we have just one day of the week where we wear pink or blue? Or
Yeah, didn't you
purple?
notice they did that though in the Disney one because they turned them to silver.
No, they changed the design in the other ones. The only one that was silver was
The chick one.
yeah, but they did the red ones in Rise of Skywalker, so JJ could probably collect his portion of the toys.
yeah.
So.
I never
Absolutely.
watched the rest.
And nobody's going to buy them anyway. They suck. It's a Sith Trooper.
Did you find it, Raging?
I didn't find exactly what I was looking for, but I've got enough to know what I want to say.
The Dark Troopers, though, looked good.
Yeah, they did.
They looked good, and they should have said
Yeah, but they're going to be useless. Just like
I wish we could have seen them a bit more in action than them just coming down, grabbing the
True
child,
that.
and flying away.
True that.
They looked like the Iron Giant. That movie, ever see it flying?
Yeah.
Dude, I've played lots of LucasArts games where you've had the troopers phase 1, 2, 3. You know, like I like seeing that. That's what I want to see on screen. I mean, it's a shame that they didn't use any of the EU. You know, they forgot that it was there for how many years because they were, like Tom was saying, more worried about pressing an agenda than telling a good story. But The Mandalorian, I don't feel like there's any agenda other than telling story. Now, whether you agree with how the story is being molded is one thing, but at least we're back to debating creative decisions, and that I do enjoy. Even though, and Nerd Cookies, I'm getting all this bad stuff out before I go on your show tomorrow. I'm just saying, all the bad words and stuff out on Scott's channel because I can get away with it. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we're back to debating creativity now. Like the scene with Baby Yoda, I'm not calling it. I'm not calling it a male enhancement pill. With Baby Yoda, is that I did enjoy that. I did see the Darksaber again, him like throwing the stormtroopers around. That was fun. But I have a lot of problems with the continuity of Baby Yoda. I've fallen out of love with it. I don't, it's not just cute now. It's 50 years old, trained by several Jedi. Can't even say its own name. Well,
you got to remember how the species ages. I get that part.
Yoda was the Jedi Knight at 90.
Where is this in the actual film?
Expanded universe.
The expanded universe that doesn't exist anymore?
I would rather follow that than Disney canon.
But then again, that also sets it up to where, I don't know, that's hard to believe that a creature that ages, let's say at about lives to be about 1,000 years old at the age of 90 would already be a master.
How did the species even make it out of evolution? If you're at a point where you're still an infant at 50, where you have to be a parent for 200 years, I mean, how did the offing yourself rate that not go up on that planet?
I hypothesize that maybe Yoda's species comes from the most docile planet in the galaxy where they are themselves the predator, because that's the only way it can work.
Well, look at it. Yeah, that's a point, too, because look, they eat everything. Yoda, and that's the thing, is the only two we know of are Yoda and Yaddle. The time frame of this, chances are they're the parents. Let's be real about this.
Yeah.
Like, they chucked out the window any chance, like I said, of him being a virgin in the Force. Probably. Well, that's the thing, is they only probably procreate once. That's the whole thing. If you have look at like elephants, they're pregnant for like over a year, aren't they?
26 months.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So like, it's kind of the same thing, even though you just look at it on a small level.
Yoda, you're telling me they eat.
Maybe Yaddle was pregnant for 300 years.
Yoda had a baby that he didn't even give a shit about.
I'm sure he did.
Full of bad dads.
Well, that's the other thing, though, is he was hit. He was hit at the same time as the other twins, but the difference is, knowing that the child would not mature fast enough, they knew their first and only hopes were going to be Luke and Leia.
That time period. Yeah,
Baby Yoda would have been a long-term kind of like.
So wait, you're telling me when he's like, there is another, he's talking about
you can retroactively say yes, because even at that time, when in the script in the movie happening, Yoda does not mean Leia, even though we figure that's what he means when we get to Return of the Jedi, because Empire and Jedi both went through so many different variant versions.
See, my interpretation was that he meant Leia.
I know. Well, now we do.
That was changed in Jedi, but yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
So, real quick, what's the difference there, Raging Rhino? Like I asked you.
Okay, so
that's just the only reason I can accept him. That's all I was saying.
I understand.
Listen to this. This is the Dark Jedi Code. Peace is attainable, but only with darkness. I can achieve darkness with emotion. I must control my emotion with focus. When I am focused, I control my power. I wield my power to bring order to the galaxy. I'm a sentinel of serenity, peacekeeper of passion. I am a dark Jedi. Sith Code. Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The force shall free me or save me. I think there's two different interpretations of that last line. Basically, what it comes down to is a dark Jedi is still sort of selfish and they dabble in the dark side, but they don't use Sith teachings. If you actually look up the definitions, that's what I was originally looking for, was the definitions, but I couldn't find the thing that I wanted to find. But it basically comes down to a Sith will go full dark, and it's all about, of course, it's all selfish, but they want to conquer everybody else in the process, right? A dark Jedi is selfish, right? But he uses his selfishness, and there's great interpretations in amongst the EU of Dark Jedi. I mean, in the Thrawn trilogy, the original Thrawn trilogy, there's a Dark Jedi in that, and I think it's done quite well. But there is a difference between those two. Again, you bring in Grey Jedi, and it's like, anyway, that's my whole point. I
guess that's what my whole question was to me, a Grey Jedi would be the same thing as a Dark Jedi then. Which, again, I guess
already exists.
Yeah, so
a Grey Jedi does, but a Dark Jedi does not. You're not achieving balance by becoming a Dark Jedi.
Correct.
Well, right. Well, that's what the whole.
You're introducing gradient. You're introducing other options.
Beige.
Taupe Jedi and a Taupe Jedi.
Oh, okay.
You have something else. You have something else.
While we're talking about. Right. While we're talking about colors, let's talk about Black Panther. After 55 minutes, let's see.
All right.
Yeah.
First topic.
And our first topic of the night, McKinney will be reading. If I can find it, McKinney, did I put it up? Because it's not doing anything on my side.
Yep.
Okay.
Reading whose comments?
I feel like I derailed
see
everything. I apologize.
Oh, not at all. That's the dump. The dump. We talk about whatever comes up. But
awesome.
My first thing, I want to make sure that YouTube hears us. These are not facts given to us by the CDC. These are either people reading somebody else's comments or their own ideas of what COVID-19 is.
Just change the name. Just call it Coof. Just call it Coof.
No, I shouldn't have to. Okay, please go on.
All right. So I begin?
Yes.
All right. This is coming from comicbook.com. Black Panther star Letitia Wright has deleted her Twitter account after drawing criticism for sharing anti-vaccination video. The YouTube video also contained transphobic comments and other problematic content as well. It's unclear if Wright watched the entire video before passing along to her following, but before long, the damage had been done, and messages flooded in from numerous fans showing their feelings of disappointment that she would choose to amplify such messages. It wasn't long before other actors would call wind and commented as well. Twitter has been a bit of a minefield for multiple celebrities over the course of the pandemic, and for many reasons. This time, the video was questioning the incoming COVID-19 vaccine and whether people should follow, trust the development if it came from China or sparked a large outcry. For now, the only development has been Wright opting to delete her account. Wright wrote in a deleted tweet, "My intention was not to hurt anyone. My only intention of posting the video was it raise my concerns with the vaccine contains and what we are putting in our bodies. Nothing else." When pressed about the video and contents of it, the Black Panther star took aim at the criticism. She said, thinking for herself, "If you don't conform to popular opinions, but ask and think for yourself, you will get canceled." A lot of fans can. Oh, okay.
No. Just real quick. It's so sad these days that someone can't have their own views on something. I mean, we've had generations of anti-vaxxers, that celebrity anti-vaxxers that were never touched, and now somebody's questioning a vaccine that, in my opinion, has been rushed through to give out to the people after the elections. And it just. Why shouldn't we question it? Isn't science the idea of always questioning, what has been created or what has been found? Like, that's science. You question, you ask the reason, you ask no, and then try to figure it out. Like, why? So this woman doesn't believe we should be putting this foreign stuff into our body right now. What is so wrong about that?
I don't think that the anti-vaxxers haven't been touched, because that's where the whole anti-vax thing came from as a slur. They've been criticized for years. Well, I don't know about that. But
well,
I
put it
would
this
say
way,
in
Jayne,
her,
kids are allowed to go to school. Kids are allowed to go to a lot of schools without having their vaccines. Other schools they can't. But there's like a nationwide push that if you don't have this, you can't even go to the goddamn grocery store. You know, like if that happens, what do we do?
Yeah, you have a lot of people saying that. You have a lot of people saying that. But I think the issue here is how she was attacked and the extent to which she was called every name in the book as if she was in fact an anti-vaxxer. All she said was, we should look a bit more closely at what's happening. This was rushed. It's not only was it rushed, rush is in the name. Like it's hyper, what was it called? Operation Warp Speed or whatever. Mm-hmm. That should cause people some concern. Yes, it should cause them to look deeply into it. I mean, you don't just have questions and not look for answers. But for people to have questions isn't something that should be attacked. I mean, that's the problem I had with how she was treated.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest point. Yeah, I think you actually
I decided from now on I'm calling Jayne Theory Hooks, which means eventually you got to come up with a don't move dirtbag voice.
Because she's so sweet sounding.
Yeah, in the middle of a fight, all of a sudden she's going like, all right, everybody just shut up! Just shut the fuck up! All right, this is what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is...
Oh my goodness. Does anybody have anything else before we read on?
Sorry, I just had a moment.
That was great.
I think there's a valid concern with regards to anything that's rushed on the medical side of prescription drugs and vaccines. I always exercise the caution of experimentation over implementation because things can screw up. There were diabetes medicines that were released that ended up doing more damage than not in the early 80s, if I recall correctly.
Right.
Then there's also the stuff that blood pressure medication, which actually did not do anything to lower blood pressure, but in fact created hair growth. So they ended up changing the entire process of that because, again, they wanted to rush out a product and get a contract for funding in order to achieve a goal. And I'm definitely not opposed to the concept of vaccines because I think they are useful. We've seen evidence of that with our population surviving through the last 60 years, no longer having polio in the numbers that it used to have, or any other, or hepatitis has been greatly reduced and so forth. But I mean, when you have a virus like this one that is really probably only about 16 or 17 months old, and to try and rush into a vaccine and this is I think it's called like a genovirus or an RNA type of virus. It's very different than the influenza and a bunch of the other colds that we get. So it's a bit more complex. So I would exercise more research and precautions with regards to the community before we start.
Right. We're entitled to ask questions.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with asking questions. Doctors encourage it, especially. Like good doctors, at least, ones that actually care about their patients always encourage asking questions because they want.
I was just going to say that not all of them do script.
Not all of them do, yeah, but the best doctors do. The best doctors say, "Hey, what are you eating? Hey, this is what this does. We think it's going to work for your blood type or whatever. And what you have any questions?" They encourage that because they want to make sure that if they're missing something, they can get that addressed before they implement. And there's a good reason to that, but. The idea that, okay, we have 2 or 3 pharmaceutical companies right now from various different countries, all with different methods in how they develop vaccines, all claiming that they have made a vaccine with a high success rate and in a record time that is unheard of in our society. It usually takes around a decade to perfect a vaccine that's effective and and has mitigated harm, because there are some people random where they basically get, I think the worst case I've ever heard is someone gets sterile from a vaccine. That was provable, but that vaccine was immediately removed from the market once they.
But you can still get an erection, right?
Yes.
Okay, well then where's the bad side of this?
I don't know. You know what I can't say? Script,
sounds like a free vasectomy to me.
What up? I do have a family member that works in the field very closely with vaccines and things of that nature. And I asked her recently, I said, what do you think about this? And again, she works in the field, so she definitely knows more. They've been working on coronaviruses for decades.
Yes,
so
because they had
that
the SARS
really,
vaccine that they're working on
right,
20 years ago.
right,
Yep.
and all they really did was take one of the already corona vaccines and just tweaked it, and that's pretty much what. So safety wise, I don't think it's gonna. I would hope it wouldn't hurt people. What I'm worried is people really are going to believe it's 99.9%, effective.
Well, they're going to treat it like a cure when that's not what a vaccine is
exactly.
at all.
Exactly. There you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
But here's the other thing too: is what concerned me initially was that they weren't going to vaccinate the military first. I'm always a bit concerned when the government won't take its own medicine.
I thought they said
want
they would,
the general
Jayne.
public. Oh no, that's
Frontline
what people
user,
thought.
frontline. Yeah.
They will start with healthcare workers and with necessary work, whatever they call them, essential services, and then expand from there. But the military will get it the same time the general public does.
Oh, because I remember when remember that day we were watching that live stream, that general guy was like, yeah, I'm taking it on when it first comes out.
He did. He said that, but
not
the actual
everybody
plan
else.
is not for the rest of the military, no.
Are prostitutes essential workers?
Oh, if you play pretend. If you play pretend, then you're essential.
Okay.
Yeah, they're essential. Yeah. McKinney, what else do we got on this article?
All right. A lot of fans are also confused that they believe that the actress would step into the role of Black Panther after Chadwick Boseman died earlier this year. Nothing has been announced yet. All of the MCU fans know for sure is that the studio won't be replacing Boseman with a digital double in the sequel. No, there's only one Chadwick, and he's not with us. Marvel Studios EVP Victoria Alonso told Clarin. Our king, unfortunately, has died in real life, not just in fiction, but we are taking little time to see how we return to history and see what we do to honor his chapter. If what has happened to us was so unexpected, so painful, so terrible, really. Alonso added, because Chadwick was not only a wonder, but it also seems to me that a character, what he did elevated us as a company and has left his moment in history. I know sometimes 2 months go by or 3 months go by in production and one says, already, it was a long time, but it's not a long time. We have to think carefully about what we're going to do and how we're going to think about how we're going to honor the franchise. What's your stance in tweeting? Let us know down in the comments.
So they don't even put any of the tweets in this article.
No, they do not. Mm-mm.
It's interesting too that they mentioned history too, because one of the things that stood out to me was that she was getting attacked for questioning a vaccine when the upper media or mainstream media, like on television, are constantly talking about the hesitation on the part of Black people in particular to taking a vaccine with the history of human experimentation that's been taking place for decades.
Tuskegee! Excuse me.
So you would expect
you, Scott. You have should wear a mask, buddy.
Tuskegee.
It just seems like this is
Stuck
another
in my
case
nose
of Karens getting upset, not really understanding the full context of her comment. Like they tend to do.
Yes,
they always
very
do
much so.
Also,
hey, you got to get going, Nina.
Yeah. I'm gonna take off, you guys.
Is everything all right?
Yeah, everything is fine. I'm fine.
All right, good.
Just
because you made it through the whole stream with Nerdrotic, but Raging Rhino is not good enough. Okay, whatever.
Come on,
Raging Rhino and I
come
on. Shit for a long time.
Yeah, we have.
We hang out a lot, and we will soon again.
For sure.
For sure. And also, I miss you, Raging. We definitely have to do that soon.
Fantastic Four needs to come back.
Here's the thing, for sure.
That's an awesome stream.
I'm so sorry that I came and derailed your Star Wars conversation with my bullshit. Okay, please.
No.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. We weren't even supposed to talk about Star Wars.
With my interpretations.
I like having the conversation. I really do.
Well, I always thought myself like a somewhat normie Star Wars fan. Like I wasn't ever, because I've never read the books and I'm not into just crazy. And I just like the OG movies and the prequels. That's it. Like that's Star Wars for me, right?
Right. And that's for a lot of people, actually. A lot of people, that's what it is. And I have nothing wrong with people coming on my stream and debating, even though they're wrong. I am fine with that.
Yeah. I feel the same thing about you, Scott. So it's all good. It's all good.
I know,
so
but I'm not.
Guys.
Hi, Nina. We love you.
I love you too, buddy. Have a good one.
Thank you
Everybody,
so much.
Nina,
Take care.
Where are you going to be? Can they find you anywhere?
Nina Infinity on YouTube. I'm sure Makini is putting my link in the chat.
It's already in the chat.
Friday's good news. Come and check it out when you're depressed about all these weird coof newses and stuff like that. Come and check out my channel for some good news. And yeah, positivity. This Sunday night / Monday, I will be uploading my next episode of His Dark Materials. So that'll be cool. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great night. Enjoy your show.
You too, buddy.
Bye.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Nina.
Can I just share something really quickly?
Also,
now that she's gone, go right ahead.
No, it's got to do with the coof. But this is just. It's got nothing really to do with the vaccinations, but I just wanted to show this because I saw this when I was looking it up for the Full Aussie last night. So this is just in Australia. I know we're not as big as other countries, but this is just in Australia. This is the flu numbers for
holy cow.
Look at 2019, right? This yellow line here, and 2017, this spike here, right? Look at 2020 as the green solid line. It kind of comes in and then just zeros.
Wow.
Yeah, well, there was no flu this year. I don't know if you heard that.
November. So, like, I just think, okay, so is this vaccination just like another flu vaccination? Like, I don't know. I've got so many questions when it comes to this. I just wanted to show that because that's impossible. That's impossible. Right. From April till November, there have been 0 cases of
hit the wrong button.
Flu.
Which means either the coup kills the flu and it's just replaced it with the superbug, or there's an incongruity with the testing.
You also have a scenario where they're not treating COVID, like there's no treatment for it, and what they're telling people is just go home. Like if you have symptoms that could be either flu symptoms or COVID symptoms, you're just to go home and wait it out and take something for pain or stay in bed or whatever. So I don't think they're even really testing for any of it unless you choose to get the test yourself. They're just telling everybody to stay home.
All right. So this is not fact. I am not a doctor. So anybody watching YouTube, but from what I understand,
or an author.
Yeah, whatever. That you're talking about a virus that is basically in the same home as other colds. It's in the same category. And so from what I understand, the testing that is done isn't 100% accurate because if you test positive for a cold, it will test positive for this. So that's, in my opinion, would be why, and I've seen those numbers before, Raging, that's why they just tanked out, because literally everything is being counted as this. It is a misrepresentation. And that is
what you believe. That's what you believe.
Those aren't the same thing. There's no way that a cold is testing the same as COVID.
Well, I know the rapid tests.
No,
but
everything is coming under COVID. Everything, like even some of the deaths that have been going on have been labeled as COVID when, you know, again, speculation, but apparently they're not.
I know a reason why, or at least I have a reason why that may be. Someone told me almost firsthand, I will say this because since it's coming from me, you have to take it as whatever. But supposedly the hospitals get a kickback from the government, and you get a kickback from the government if it's marked down as a COVID death. So that's probably more so where a lot of these spikes in the actual, like, oh, they fell out of a train, COVID.
Yeah.
Well, the kickbacks though are supposed to be going towards supplies, which they didn't even have access to for a while. So you're going to get more money.
But again, this shows where there's motivation for there to be some type of fudging of the numbers.
Yeah. Unless you need those resources.
That guy stubbed his toe, COVID.
Kind
of a check.
I know that in some areas, like the hospitals are so busy and overrun that, you know, nurses have time to do TikTok videos.
I knew you were going to say that.
Not in the hospital.
It definitely depends on the hospital because you have people who work in hospitals
you're Canadian.
who can tell you what their experience is where they currently are. Not every hospital is going to be the same. Not every state's having the same issue.
And there has been some that are like in New York, I know we're like overwhelmed. But in most places, they're charging it as COVID because they're not getting paid because they can't do their procedures. They can't do the hip replacements. They can't do, hernias. They can't do this. They can't do that. For the longest time, they couldn't do anything that was considered, elective procedure. So a lot of the places, they were just sitting around waiting for a pandemic to happen. So if you can say...
But in Louisiana, I mean, when we reached our peak, when it actually got bad here, our hospitals were actually full. People were being moved from parish to parish.
I'm not doubting it.
And out of state when it was really serious. So it just depends.
No, I'm not doubting that. It depends where you are. Yes. It's a really, really, really bad cold. And I just hope everyone stays safe. Thank you, YouTube, for not shutting us down. Yeah. I think trying to cancel someone though, Rhino, like over their opinion, I'm never going to get used to.
And especially when it comes to a vaccination that again has, only, testing and things like that takes time, and it's been very, very quick. And to not question it, I think you're a bit silly to not question it, to be honest.
Right.
I mean, I wish I had questioned some of the vaccinations that I've had. I mean, I think it was 2017. That's why we probably had that massive spike on that graph for the flu. But our government bought the flu vaccination from the drug companies for like some African country instead of like the for Australia. So the vaccinations came into the country. They started injecting everybody. Everybody started getting sick with this new strain of the flu because that we've never seen before. That's from some African country, and I think that's why we had that massive spike on that graph.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's the government buying the wrong vaccination and then giving it to their people. Like
maybe the vaccination from a few years prior that was still in production from another country, or something.
Yeah, but I'm now supposed to just take this vaccination that we've had this coof thing for less than a year, or maybe about a year. And how long have they been doing the vaccination testing? How long has this been going on? What's in this vaccination? Like, I'm sorry, I'm asking questions. I'm not just taking it. I'm not taking it willy-nilly.
And my question too is, why is every country rushing? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me that all the nations are somehow, with all of the governments are on the same page with rushing this vaccine through. Why?
Very true.
Right. They can't agree on anything else. Right.
I'm sorry. I don't want to take away from anyone that's had a family member die from this or anything like that, but it doesn't seem to be that bad. Like, when you look at the differences between other pandemics that have gone on in history, and you look at even flu numbers against it, it's not. I'm sorry. It's just not that
people
bad.
die from the flu.
To be fair, though. Fair though, we have better technology today, so more people are aware of what to do to protect themselves. So you're not going to have the same numbers that we did 100 years ago, simply because we can pass information quicker about what to do, and we have better healthcare than we had back then.
But we're still in the infancy of our own healthcare too, by comparison. Yeah,
exactly. I've known several people who died from it, which is probably why I take it a bit more seriously.
Oh, I know a few people. Yeah.
I do think though that when it comes to a vaccine, that's a very different thing. And that's something we do have to be careful about, because it can have negative consequences. We've seen what can happen when these medicines are rushed through, even when they're not. They get into the general public and we start having all these side effects in the population that we didn't anticipate. So people should be able to question these things. And I think the problem with Twitter is that they're just looking constantly to attack anybody. She could have said anything and they would have dogpiled.
And considering how many drugs that the U.S. pharmaceutical companies make that have more side effects than resolutions, it's perfectly logical to question question any sort of new medication. It doesn't even matter if it's a vaccine or not. Just any medication that ends up having a load of where you take a look at it, it's like, oh, do I take this medication for my restless leg syndrome, knowing that I'm going to have chronic diarrhea, headaches, increased blood pressure, all that stuff, or do I just live with the restless leg syndrome? Like you have to figure out which is to your advantage. And in most cases, for some people, it's like I'd rather just live with the ailment than have to deal with all these side effects that are going to make life harder.
And one of the I was going to say that one of the people who seem to kind of backstab her is Don Cheadle. I'm seeing a couple of videos talking about it right now. Or talking about that right now. So
I had a little bit of
really. What did you say?
After the Brie Larson thing, but I lost it a little bit after this.
I think in general, he's saying that like he doesn't agree with like what Letitia Wright was saying, but at the same time, he's like, don't cancel her or something like that.
No, he was saying things in a very snarky way.
Oh, okay,
like,
yeah. So it's kind of like a backhand. It was like a backhanded compliment.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm just like, why would you do that? You call her your friend. See, this is why I don't like the other guy, who everybody here probably likes. I can't even remember his name, but he's constantly talking.
Mark Ruffalo?
No, the black guy.
Don Cheadle?
No, that's the one that we were talking about.
Anthony Mackie?
Anthony Mackie.
Anthony. He's great.
And the first War Machine guy?
First War Machine, Terrence Howard?
Is he an actor?
He's an actor. No, it's a game. Okay. The actor okay, so this is a guy who's constantly talking, and he's usually upsetting the majority of the black population.
Terry Crews?
Yes, him.
Oh, Terry Crews. Okay.
Yeah. So these are guys who pretend to be friends with someone, right? And then as soon as they're attacked or they say something and they're attacked by the public, they pile on with the attackers. That I have no respect for whatsoever. If this is your friend,
did Nina ever figure out the black guy?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Terry Crews.
Oh, Terry Crews? He's not in the Marvel universe.
No, thank God.
He will be now if he's virtue signaling and attacking.
I'm so confused. Sorry, I didn't mean. I'm confused.
I don't like people who you say someone's your friend, you see them being attacked, and you pile on with the attackers. That's all.
No doubt. No doubt, Gene. Right there with you.
That's true. He's a jerk. That's true. Yes, he is. I wanted to talk about this other article about the bloodbath, but I can't bring it on for Disney layoffs.
Let me see if
Tom, have you heard anything about these bloodbath Disney layoffs?
They haven't stopped for like the last few months, have they?
Yep.
Well, yeah. I heard. I mean, I know they were going to lay off like 55,000, was it? But are they still talking about what has been going on for the past few months, in LA, in California mostly and somewhat in Florida?
I would imagine, especially with the shutdowns.
Okay.
If one of those 55,000 isn't Kathleen Kennedy, I don't care.
Of course not. It's never any high-level people. It's only low-level people.
Yeah, I know.
It's the same shit there.
Middle management was supposed to get cut in the most recent cuts. I don't know if you're talking about something different.
I think McKinney's bringing up the article. It's from Bounding Into Comics. It says reports new Disney layoffs described as bloodbath. Here we go.
All right. A new report.
Get my new computer. Sorry, go ahead, buddy.
All right. A new report claims that Disney is going through a new round of layoffs that has been described as a bloodbath. The report comes from the Hollywood Reporter, who say two Disney employees who described what is happening at the company, saying it's a bloodbath. The general layoffs are reportedly happening in Disney's general entertainment content unit in their Walt Disney Television division, which includes ABC and 20th Television. 20th Century Fox. According to THR, over 100 people have been laid off, source told them. I'm sure Disney seems worse, but it's pretty significant. Among those who have been laid off include ABC executive member Vicky Dummer, as well as Andy Kubitz. Dummer was previously the head of current series programming at ABC Entertainment, with Kubitz's LinkedIn profile says that he was an 8-year veteran at ABC Entertainment, where he was most recently the executive vice president of the programming strategy. 20th Century Fox has reportedly laid off Dan Kubitz, whose LinkedIn profile says he's the most recent position was executive vice president, business affairs and operations. He has been with the company for only 10 months. The latest layoffs come in the wake of the memo from Disneyland president Ken Potrock, who have detailed that they would be furloughing more employees. That memo, which was obtained by THR, stated after nearly 8 months, our parks and hotels remain closed. And while we've had many successes, like the opening of downtown Disney District in July, shopping and dining coming soon to Buena Vista Street, and today's announcement to reopen the Disney Vacation Club units, the release state guidelines put us in limbo regarding a reopening timeline in the foreseeable future. The memo adds, as you know it, we've already taken a heart-wrenching action of laying off thousands of our cast on both coasts. We're expected to be able to open our parks in Anaheim, given our proven ability to cooperate with responsible health and safety protocols, as we have all in our other theme parks around the world. But unfortunately, that is not the case. It is definitely not the case. THR reports that furloughed employees will keep health and insurance benefits. Back in November, an SEC filing revealed that Disney will be letting go of an additional 4,000 employees on top of the 28,000 that have previously been announced in September. The following reads, due to the current climate, including COVID-19 impacts and the changing environment in which we are operating, the company has generated efficiencies in its staffing, including limited hiring for critical business roles, furloughs, and reductions in force. They added, as part of these actions, the employment of approximately 32,000 employees, primarily the theme parks, experiences, and products will terminate in the first half of the fiscal 2021. All of these layoffs come in the wake of Disney's November 12th quarterly report, which indicated that their next fourth quarter losses totaled $710 million. Not only did they report a $710 million fourth quarter loss, but the company also revealed that the revenue has declined by over $5 billion as compared to 2019. In 2020, they reported their total revenue was $14.71 billion. In 2019, their revenue was $19.1 billion. Not only is the company suffering financially, but back in October, they announced a structural reorganization to put focus on their streaming services. Their press release in October reads, under the new structure, Disney's world-class creative engines will focus on developing and producing original content for the company's streaming services, as well as for legacy platforms, while distribution and commercialization activities will be centralized into a single global media and entertainment distribution organization. Disney CEO Bob Chapek, given the incredible success of Disney Plus and our plans to accelerate our direct-to-consumer businesses, we are strategically positioning our company to be more efficiently supportive and our growth strategy increase shareholder value. Managing content creation managing content creation distinct from distribution will allow us to be more efficient and nimble in making the content consumers want most, delivered in the way that they prefer to consume it. Our creative teams will concentrate on what they do best, making newly world-class franchise-based content, while our newly centralized global distribution team will focus on delivering and monetizing that content in the most optimal way across all platforms, including Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, and the coming Star international streaming service. Chapek added, "What do you make of this new bloodbath at Disney? Do you think this will be the end or there will be more in the future?" Let us know in the comments.
Whew, that was an article. I don't even know what happened and don't care. Does anybody have anything to say on that one, though?
I think that was in reference to the latest announcement of cuts, and they were talking about the executives who did get cut. So it wasn't just low-level people. It also included some middle management, and I think it looks like about 100 or so people, including those in executive positions. So
I mean,
they're not playing around.
If it's anything like my company, we have like 700 vice presidents. vice president of bathroom stall 3. Like there's so many vice presidents. So they could be just streamlining the upper management portion too. But I just sometimes wonder, like, Chapek, how big's your bonus going to be? Right. Like, how many jobs could have been saved?
Like a golden parachute.
Well, no, not even a golden parachute. I know where I work and other friends work. One of their CEOs got like a $50 million bonus. So you're telling me you let go of how many people? Like a lot of people. That's crazy amount of jobs that you could secure for another full year. Because remember, we're going to shut down, but we're going to make sure everybody's going to be all right. And we're going to get through this together as a company, as a nation, as a people.
Yeah, well, $50 million could be the salaries of over 1,600 people for the year.
Yes, right there. So what are they really doing? They're saving their own asses, of course, but are they saving their bonuses too? Like, or are they streamlining because they always wanted to? Like, let's get rid of redundancy. What do you guys think?
I just hate the fact that these people with the deepest pockets are deemed to be essential. That's my biggest problem with the whole thing. These guys are making. I don't know. They got so much money, and I just want $1 million. Just give me $1 million. I'll be happy. Thanks.
Yeah.
We're talking in billions of dollars and losing. These certain amounts of revenue and all of this kind of stuff. And it's a good question to ask. Like, okay, Chapek, okay, Iger, how much are you actually making this year, despite COVID? Like,
and can that money be invested into the company to secure the jobs of the employees? That would actually help, expand the profitability of the company, because the more people have disposable income, the more likely they're going to spend it at your company, and therefore you're going to still get high profits. It's this basic economic theory is that, you don't really want to do anything to destroy the value of the currency, but you want to make sure that there's people there that can take care of themselves through balanced wages and enough job opportunity so that you can actually bolster your economy.
It's almost like the Dave Chappelle thing. Is it fair that he wasn't getting paid to have his thing shown on Netflix? No. Should they have maybe given him some money? Yes, but they don't have to.
Right.
Because you know what I mean? That's right, because he signed the contract. It's the same sort of thing with these employees. Yeah, we don't have to have our bonuses, but let's just lay off 50,000 jobs and keep our bonuses. Yay!
Yay!
It's the same sort of thing.
McKinney, what are you trying to say, brother?
I'm pretty much with Raging, and I think that I think it's more the lines they're trying to keep their whatever, keep their checks and whatever, they're not suffer like a huge pay cut and such, because all this is going on.
They don't want to suffer, McKinney. No, they don't want to suffer at all.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going in back of my mind with, this, the streaming wars commencing as it is, and looking between, difference between what's going on with, AT&T, Warner, DC, Rooster Teeth, all those group. And then you look at Disney and what's going on there. And you can also even throw in, Viacom, CBS and such. It's just like, nobody had a game plan. Nobody had a plan when the lockdown started hitting, and Disney, and I think out of everybody, I'm noticing that Disney is you could tell they're getting hurt the most. Say what you will about, like AT&T, what's going on over there, but you could easily tell that Disney is getting hit real hard from this. And what didn't help was, the theme park shutting down, and, Gavin Newsom not really basically shutting everything down for Disney, so it's hurting them big time. And all these rumors
Star Wars.
Yeah, it's just all this going on, and
Disney made a record fucking $12 billion last year.
Yep.
Yeah, and a minimum of $6 billion this year just on Disney Plus.
They're not hurting as bad as they want to make you think they're hurting.
Exactly.
Right.
And then you got a guy who owns a brewery in Maine, who the state was charging him like $600 a day, and now is charging him $5,000 a day because he tried to keep open his brewery for 65 different families to survive. And you got Disney like not even trying to stay open. Like they're trying to stay open just enough to make their bonuses, get their money, get the shareholders, from being too nervous and selling off. And who matters 55,000 people, another 5,000 here, another 4,000 here. These are people's lives, and all we are is pawns. That's all they are, is pawns.
And the same thing, the interesting thing too is at the same time this is happening, they're going on television shows talking about their streaming service and how much they're going to invest in that.
Well, here's and that's something I want to bring up with that's something I want to bring up with the AT&T DC thing, is that they're putting everything on HBO Max, and if HBO Max doesn't work, that's going to be like DC. That's like DC. That's Rooster Teeth. That's Warner. That's a lot of stuff that's going to be going down the tubes, and that's probably going to be a long time.
I wouldn't worry about them either. I wouldn't worry about them either. They
I'm
always
just saying,
land on their.
but I'm just saying though.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
No, Warner Brothers decided to simultaneously drop a bomb on the entire streaming war and slide a knife into the back of the theaters at the exact same time.
Yep.
And it was all and only for their HBO Max profile.
Deal. Yeah.
Period. Because they're stuck in a situation right now where they only have 8.3 million active subscribers. They fucking snafu'd this whole launch. They have over 30 million, like 30 to 40 million inactive subscribers who actually have accounts, but they have not activated them because they don't realize they probably have them. You have a situation where they were supposed to, and this is what my source told me, is they were pissed because they were supposed to have 5 Game of Thrones spinoffs to help sell HBO Max. None of them are happening except for one. And the one that is happening is so delayed that they're lucky if they're going to have it by 2022. The Snyder Cut announcement didn't do as well for them as they were hoping. And that's still a year at least off.
And the budget of another feature film as well.
Yeah, basically then add in that money to the... Well, AT&T isn't hurting for money. That's the thing. Is they can afford to do this, and that's what I've been trying to say. Like, yeah, granted, if theaters were still open, they would still put a lot of these movies in theaters, but don't think they wouldn't be thinking again
Their
about...
second window would be on HBO. Yeah.
Well, not just that, but they would maybe even think about, you know what, fuck it, we're going to put Wonder Woman on for Christmas. They may have done it just the same. Because at this point, they're desperate to get active subscribers on HBO Max because they are in the dust when it comes to the streaming war. And that's the only thing that saved Disney's entire stock this last quarter, was the fact that Disney Plus, they reported, had 73 million subscribers. Now, again, we can sit here and go back and forth all day long on how accurate that number is. It doesn't matter. It still bumped their stock because otherwise their stock was going to be in the toilet.
Yep.
And that's what the theaters were saying, is that they suspect that they're using the COVID situation as an excuse. They were always going to do this.
That's what I've been trying to say for weeks now. And no, everybody's oh, you're full of shit, Tom. I've heard that so many times in the last few weeks.
No, this was their end game. They just had a great excuse to do it a lot earlier.
Yeah, right. Gary agreed on our last stream, just on Jayne's channel. Just agreed that this is their plan. They were planning on doing it. It just happened sooner than they thought, and they had their out, and they took it. That's it.
Well, yeah, because they had to rush HBO Max because of Disney Plus to begin with. Disney Plus, if you guys remember, launched like a year before it was supposed to, 6 months.
Yes,
before it was supposed to.
6 months. Yep.
Yeah, so like that was the other thing, is they've been scrambling, just like with the Marvel deal. They've been scrambling to play catch up. Yep. And regardless if they actually probably have the deeper catalog, they don't have any new stuff to bring any new subscribers. And I know a lot of people are like, yeah, but they got great. It's like, yeah, but that's not. Nobody's watching it. Nobody's watching it. Nobody cares.
Movies already.
Yeah, well, not just that, but nobody. It's a $15 subscription. First of all, it's wonky. The first 4K title they're going to have is finally going to be Wonder Woman. I mean, I love the stuff they have on there, but it is one of the worst fucking streaming services around. Period.
Right.
Technical wise, I mean.
Right. Oh God, it's just so aggravating. It's so aggravating. It is
pretty frustrating at the moment.
It is. We're gonna wrap it up though, but finish what you were gonna say, Rhino, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
No, I was pretty much done. I was just sort of elaborating on what you were saying. It's just everything at the moment just is very, very frustrating. I don't know whether or not there's an age thing involved with that. I do notice that a lot of people around my age, like the 80s and 90s kids are just like sitting there going, what the hell's going on?
Well, I know Denny Villeneuve. The one thing I do know,
not all of them, but
Denny Villeneuve is somewhere fucking swearing in, what is it, French? Is that what he is?
He's French Canadian.
Yeah, and you know damn well he's not happy right now.
Yeah,
right.
He is.
He wanted Dune to go to theaters.
Right.
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh, Denis Villeneuve. Yeah, Denis Villeneuve. Sorry.
Yeah. They wanted Wonder Woman in theaters.
That one I'm not so sure about.
Then Patty Jenkins said that she was not backing down. She wanted to get Wonder Woman into theaters.
Well, of course she does. That's probably extra money in her pocket. Sorry, Jane, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying that's what they've been saying all year. It absolutely would be released in theaters. Absolutely.
Well, they are.
And then they had to compromise. Yeah, but they had to compromise though.
Right.
And it hurt them.
Hurt them bad. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Because I'm just done. I'm done with these people. It's been 3 hours, 4 hours of us talking about it on 2 different streams. Guys, let's start with McKinney. McKinney, where can they find you, buddy?
All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Machiny90. I am the Inquisitor, the artist of Rogue Entertainment, one of the mods of Rogue Entertainment. You can find me on YouTube where I do my weekly time draw streams every Wednesday and Sundays at 12:30. But this week is going to be a little bit special. We are doing a double draw stream. The first one is going to be on Tuesday at 12:30 with our friend Northern Jeremiah again, and then back on Wednesday with Kai MFS and Runner Studios, Angela Straven, and a few other friends as we do an art piece to celebrate the release of Cyberpunk 2077. And it has been waiting for 8 years, man. We cannot wait for this any longer. On top of that, we tomorrow is just going to be a regular Sunday stream, just wrapping up on just another drawing I was working on with of course my co-host Mads Mama Bear, Bruce Lombardo, and our newest co-host M. Dastardly. Thank you. Hope to see you guys there.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And next up, that guy, Tom.
Bat Tom.
Yeah, Bat Tom. Bat Tom.
What do I do now?
You just say goodbye.
Oh, you want Bat Tom?
Yeah.
What?
Say goodbye, Bat Tom.
I was busy. I was researching the coof.
You still got a beard going, Bat Tom.
Oh, yeah. It's No Shave November. Or wait. It was.
It's December.
Oh, shit. I got Christmas shopping to do.
Yeah.
What should I get Catwoman, a scratching post?
Oh, yeah. Do you know Bruce Wayne at all? Would you buy him anything?
Oh, he's the sexiest bachelor in Gotham City.
Oh, yeah. What do you get the sexiest bastard? Bachelor.
He is a sexy bastard. You can always get him like a nice watch, a new car, a boat.
Would you like a Batman costume?
A new sidekick.
Sidekick?
Yeah. I mean, new ward. New ward.
Ward? Okay. Well, thanks for being here tonight, Bat Tom. We appreciate it.
I don't know where here is, but you're welcome.
Thank you. Next up, the great script doctor.
Hey. So yeah, I'm the script doctor. You can find me on Twitter at scriptdoctorphd. I also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/scriptdoctor. I'm very tired. I'm currently going to go back to editing my Star Trek Discovery review, which I hope to drop tomorrow afternoon, and then I'll be kind of caught up. Just have to do a Mandalorian and another Star Trek Discovery review, and hopefully not want to die afterwards. Because Star Trek Discovery
that
sucked.
last episode was just
oh boy.
It wasn't good. It was barely an episode.
Yeah,
let's go to the forest.
Spock, wait a minute. What planet is Spock from again?
Vulcan.
Is that what they call it?
Hasn't it been renamed?
No, they call it Navarre. But that was the week before.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
Never gonna watch it again. I hear.
That's where they have a debate that's not even a debate.
Nivar. It sounds like Narnia.
It's like never, but like Nivar.
Oh, yeah. Nivar, not Narnia.
Never going to recover.
Yeah.
Do they have a closet you can go through to get to it though, or are you just trapped?
No, we
in
didn't
the
get to see the
closet when you
planet.
watch
It was
it?
a bottle episode. We were stuck on the ship the entire time.
Oh,
and apparently Vulcan
okay.
has a moon now, also, which is stupid.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Script Doctor. As always,
Hail
guys,
Script.
check
Thank
them
you.
out and subscribe. And then had the best stream of the night, Jayne Theory.
Yay! Thank you. You can find me here on YouTube where I post movie and television reviews and pop culture news. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram and Parler at Jayne Theory.
Thanks, Jayne. Thanks for not even.
Can you just do it for us once? Just like, put it down, dirtbag!
Get ready to record, everyone.
It's don't move, dirtbag.
Whatever. Give it. Go Hooks.
I'm really glad that Jayne didn't even try to like fake it and be like, no, Scott, your stream was great too. That was awesome. Thanks, Jayne. And next up, my brother. It's been an honor to. Did you notice that though, Rhino? Did you notice that? I was like, you had the best stream of the night. She's like, yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did.
You
Thanks.
suck. Yeah. But thank you for being here, man. I really appreciate it.
It's been a long time coming. Thank you. I am the YouTuber Raging Rhino. You're Rhino, born in the guts of the High Council.
Nazi!
Wash your hands, wash your ass, be good to each other.
Oh,
the curb stopper of Disney Star Wars.
We're done with that. I'm putting a spork in it. We are done. Thank you, Rhino. Everybody, remember this face. He's sick right now. He says he doesn't have the coof, but I don't know about that because right now he's getting a special checkup from a doctor on video, but I don't know. That's kind of weird. Thank you to my members. This is for you guys. Peace.